With the summer break already ended and begins the second half of the season, from Aprilia's genuine attempt at winning in Red Bull Ring to another major flop from Pecco Bagnaia at the start of this second half, here are my 5 topics to comment about the 2025 Austrian Motorcycle Grand Prix. A strong showing from FP1. Despite him having to go through Q1 and not directly into Q2, he ended up pole position. He snatched that pole position and he led for the majority of the race. It was like in the last 10 laps that Marc overtook him finally, but before that, in the previous 18 laps, he led the way. Marco Bezzecchi, he made the difference on board that Aprilia. The other 3 Aprilias were all struggling. Well, Raul Fernandez didn't really struggle that much because he managed to put that Aprilia inside the Q3 and he finished in the top 10. It's a P9 for Raul. But for Jorge Martin, that prick who kind of make a fuss about anything about Aprilia, he crashed. He even qualified only P14. Aldeguer, another struggle for the Japanese rookie, but Marco Bezzecchi, he made the difference. Him leading the race, even at some point he was building a gap to those behind him. I think at one point it reached barely 1 second. Yeah, barely 1 second. I think it was only like 0.9 high, 0.9 low before Marc finally closing in on him. Unfortunately though, all of his struggle only ended up with a mere P3. He was even overtaken by Aldeguer. I think that he chewed almost everything, every last bit of a rubber on that Michelin tire. He didn't really have any grip anymore, so it's a P3 for Marco. He even got the fastest lap. That just shows how strong Marco is in this weekend. I was really hoping that he could win. It was a genuinely strong performance. I really thought that Aprilia could really pull this one off. I mean, this is the start of the second half. This is going to be a big thing for the entire Aprilia family, basically. But again, it's a pole position, a 5th career pole position for Marco, if memory serves me correctly. I think it is a 5th pole position. But 4th podium of the season, 4th podium on board that Aprilia. I don't think that there is any more excuse that Jorge Martin can use. That Aprilia is genuinely a race-winning bike. So him always crashing on that bike, I think it really is him who's the problem here. But again, Marco solidifying his place in that P4 in the championship, and I think he could potentially close in on Pecco Bagnaia for 3rd in the championship. Marc's momentum keeps on rolling even after 4 weeks off the MotoGP circus. Like, my God, now 6 in a row. His winning tally keeps on adding up and adding up and adding up. Like I said, since the first race of the season all the way back in Thailand, it's not impossible for Marc to do another 10 in a row, just like a feat that he did 11 years ago in 2014. 10 in a row. Oh my God, he could potentially extend it to 11 in a row, being the first one to do so in the history of the sport. The way Marc managed the race in this round in the Red Bull Ring, he was visibly very comfortable on board the GP25. The way he was chasing Marco, especially in that chicane, the way he kind of flipped from right to left, it was very clear. We can visibly see it, that he was really comfortable on board that GP25. Marco was struggling a lot. If you see the footage of the race itself, you can see that when flopping to the left, when picking up the bike from that extreme of an angle on the right side and then flipping it to the left, Marco was struggling. It was so slow. The way he picks up the bike, it was so slow compared to Marc. Marc was like from right to left, but Marco, there was just like this slight delay in him picking up the bike, and that's not just Marco having a skill issue. That's basically the entire Aprilia's issue. Wow, nine wins already that he got this season. I think it's not impossible that he's going to lock the title at Misano. It's just so likely. He's no longer the baby alien. We know that for a fact. He is the alien. And literally there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop him now. Having started 6th on the grid, 6th, his start, Aldeguer's start, it was a bad start. It saw him drop to 8. Well, he only dropped 2 places, but in Red Bull Ring, 2 places, it's a lot, mate. It's a lot. Slowly but surely, though, he climbed up the order. He was involved in a major battle between him, Brad Binder, also Enea was involved as well, Enea Bastianini, and then in the end he overtook Pedro and then overtook Pecco as well. Once he got Marco, he was visibly closing in on Marc. Wow, and that last 5 laps I was on the edge of my seat, like he was visibly closing in, and when I saw the gap, it was like from 1.1 second to 1 second to 0.9 to 0.8, and I was like, oh my god, Firmin could very well be winning this race. I mean, it is genuinely his first knock on a maiden Premier Class win on board a GP24 against the Marc Marquez, the alien. In the end though, he kinda used his head and he kinda backed off a bit, and he finished just 1.1 seconds back from Marc. Impressive to say the least. He's a rookie, mate. He's a rookie. Not to mention that, like I said earlier, he at one point he dropped to 8 in the race, but he managed to climb and even closing in on the leader. I think it's not going to be any surprise if before the end of the season he's going to clinch his maiden win. So while Firmin was making up places after dropping to 8 and then climbing up the order, the same cannot be said to his teammate Alex. Alex was having a nightmare. But it's kind of weird though, because before he served his long lap penalty, a long lap penalty that he needed to serve because he tangled with Johan 4 weeks ago at Brno, so he needed to serve a long lap penalty in the next race, which was in the Red Bull Ring. And in the first 2 laps before he served the penalty, he was genuinely strong. He was running in P4 and was close with the top 3, with Marco being the leader, and then Pecco at that point in second, and then Marc in third, and Alex was in 4th, close with this group. He was practically belonged to the leading group. But after serving his long lap penalty, he couldn't really make up any meaningful progression. Like, it didn't really add up for me, for the fact that his rookie teammate on board the very same GP24 was able to make up places while he couldn't. He was down to P13 or 14 after the long lap penalty, and he only ended up finishing in 10th. He only made up like 4 or 3 places. He was basically stuck behind Johan Zarco for the majority of his attempt at returning to the front. But once he overtook Johan and got inside the top 10, he just stuck there in P10. He couldn't really make up for any more meaningful progress. He couldn't really catch Raul, who finished in P9. He couldn't, let alone to catch up Pecco, who was tumbling down the order. What was actually hindering Alex from making up positions? It's just, I don't know. I was bewildered by this phenomenon. Was it the tires? Because judging by his pace in the first 2 laps, he should have been able to make up at the very least 6th place. Like, this isn't the first time that Alex was out of the top 10, like even outside of the points he was in at Losail in Qatar. He was down to P16 or 18, but then he climbed back the order to P6, P7 actually on the finish line. But why he couldn't really repeat the same feat here? Was it due to the characteristic of the Red Bull Ring? Was it due to the bike itself? Was it him not being really fully fit after a series of injury? I think I really need to read some more news after this, because this was recorded like just 1 hour after the race. I still haven't gotten anything. Jerez, Mugello, Assen, and now Red Bull Ring. These 4 tracks that saw Pecco Bagnaia triumph victorious in the past 3 seasons, 22, 23, 24. All 4 of them have been nothing but disastrous and disappointing results for the double world champion. If you want to count the P3, the double P3 in Assen as well as in Jerez as something not disappointing, I don't know, mate, maybe that's your opinion, but for me, just a mere P3 on a track where you won in the past 3 seasons, I think that's a disappointing result. At Jerez, he was basically stuck behind Fabio Quartararo. At Assen, he was putting up a good fight, but he in the end did nothing, basically. I can genuinely say that it's now over. It's now over for Pecco's attempt at redemption in the second half of the season. This is only the beginning of the second half, yet this is the kind of performance that he displayed. I'm not going to be surprised if he ended up only P4 in the championship instead of just P3. Marco could very well be ahead of him at the end of the championship. It's just, as a Pecco fan, as a Ducati fan, it baffles me. It baffles me like a lot. But I can't really say anything more because Pecco is basically crushed already. His mentality, his mental side is already vaporized. I don't know if that's just me exaggerating, but I think that's just the case with Pecco. And it's over now for him in this 2025 campaign. It's just a season to forget for Pecco. And yeah, I think that's it that I can comment about. This is all my verdict and my personal raw thoughts, just as per tradition. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and we might have a bit of a civilized discussion. Like and subscribe for more, and until we meet again.